News over the weekend has not had any break at all because it's been interesting.
Right.
From one big story to another. That's not a scandal, let me say. It's a pure scandal and a very disgraceful one, if you ask me, in my opinion, because you quite recall the Norway marathon that was like big some time ago with all the news about athletes and para-athletes trying to prepare. Apparently, the Ghana Paralympic head coach passed away, and 9 others who made their way to Oslo in Norway are on the run. And let's try and delve into the news because this was really breathtaking when it came out, and it was like really disgraceful and shameful, like I was saying. But let me just take our viewers straight into the story because Norway marathon Ghana Paralympic head coach passes away, 9 others on the run, and this story is by our colleague Yao Eje Minta. Excerpts of the story says a team of Paralympic athletes from Ghana are on the run after they failed to participate in the Frotskaft Berggren Marathon in Oslo, Norway. According to the letter dated July 3 from the Ministry of National Security, addressed to both the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, 11-member team representing Ghana arrived in Oslo on April 25, 2024 to compete in the marathon. However, they did not appear at the event. Can you imagine? The story goes on to say, following the team's non-appearance, a search was initiated during this operation. Nana Entry, a para-athlete and a member of the team, was apprehended. Can you imagine? While attempting to travel from Norway to Sweden via train. And sources were like, it was a one-way ticket that he purchased. And
that means there was no coming back.
No coming back in this story. Can you imagine? The story goes on to say, in a tragic turn of events, the team's head coach, George Jesse Jemfi, was admitted to the Oslo University Hospital after collapsing on April 28, 2024. He sadly passed away on May 17, 2024, following the team's failure to compete in the marathon. The letter did not provide information on the whereabouts of the remaining 9 members of the team. It goes on to say, however, it states that the European Border Control Coast Guard Agency and the Norwegian Embassy in Accra have been informed and are trying to locate these said 9 people. I mean, and a tragic story. And
I don't want to justify what they did, but at least go and register for the reason why you have been sent to Oslo. You're representing Ghana. Now, this is a bad name for Ghana.
Exactly.
Imagine other people who are trying to get to Oslo now will have to add extra things to their papers to make sure that they know and understand that you're definitely coming back to the country. We don't want to be banned.
I mean, the minister, the National Security Minister, Albert Kandapa, in the statement, right, in the letter that brought all of this out, even said that it puts into light or even makes it more difficult for future Ghanaian athletes who may need or require visa for other international sporting disciplines. See, this is completely irresponsible on their part. And for me, I wonder why somebody would want to do it. Of course, you get people adding the political spin to it. If things weren't as bad
as they are
in the country, people wouldn't do this. But see, the point is that these are a group of dishonest people, and we need to call them out for these actions. And it's interesting because listening to reports around it, following the news, I mean, some of the sports guys will tell you that the issues with the National Para-Olympic team or committee, that's they call it the NPC, is a really, really serious one, which dates far back. You quite recall when somewhere 2 months ago, when the amputee football team
they had to go to Kantamante to get their own
exactly all of those
equipment.
Issues, going to the former president.
I feel like we only take care of our black stars and our black queens.
People say it's a black stars ministry.
And the rest of our athletes have to fend for themselves, suffer to get every other thing, every extra little thing.
It's
they have to
unfortunate.
suffer to get it. And it's unfortunate. And that's not how a sports ministry should be run. I think all our athletes deserve fair treatment, not just the black stars who haven't won us the cup in God knows how long. It was, it needs to stop. We need to pay attention to our other athletes,
Can you imagine that the Ghana amputee football team that represented the country in Egypt and won the trophy had 2 different teams representing or carrying themselves as the Ghana football amputee team? Exactly, like there are really deep cracks within the para even with the Ghana Athletics, let me say overall. And it was so devastating to the fact that they had to take a court order to stop one group carrying itself as the Ghana amputee football team from traveling on behalf of the country. And you're wondering how all of these things are happening. And it's not only that. You see, the issues are so deep and are so, I mean, it speaks to the core of a leadership failure within the sporting, I mean, fraternity with regards to, because all these years, I'm wondering how we allowed this to fester for so long. And for me, I think it's just irresponsible. The leader of the National Paralympic Committee said that, see, these people who did this are imposters, they are fraudsters, they are not part of the recognized group. So we'll see how this plays out in the coming days. But I've seen people try to condone it and say, oh, people want to jackpot. So if people are fleeing whatever means, we should let it happen. But guys, we need to condemn it because it has an implication on future prospects of people who might want to travel to represent the country legally and fairly. So I think we have to call this out.
Let's stay on Channel One news. So you know the cement manufacturers had a meeting with Honorable Wafaketi. And he said that, the LI that he wants to lay before Parliament and all the brouhaha that has surrounded it. So they are giving us a breakdown of factors influencing the cost per bag of cement to justify why cement stands at 105 Ghana cedis. 105 Ghana cedis per bag. So they say that, and we already know that most of their the things that they use for the cement are,
imported.
Imported, exactly. So it says here, Minister Hammond has clarified that the LI would not dictate prices, but would instead promote transparency in the country's cement pricing. The government's plans to introduce an LI to oversee cement pricing, I've already said this, have sparked controversy. So let's do the analysis now. According to the association, raw materials account for 33 Ghana cedis per bag. The price of imported clinker, gypsum, and other materials are driven by global market forces and are paid in US dollars. This exposes the manufacturer to the volatility of international commodity prices and exchange rate fluctuations. Government taxes, duties, and levies add up to around 22 Ghana cedis per bag in the case of duties. They are also paid in US dollars, further increasing the manufacturer's exposure to foreign exchange risk. Production costs make up about 12 Ghana cedis per bag. So that includes the cost of electricity and fuel, which are used to grind cement. These dominate these costs, and these have been subject to local inflationary pressures, which have been steadily rising in recent years. So they're saying that finally, interest payments, depreciation, forex losses, and manufacturer net profit contribute to 8 Ghana cedis per bag. These costs stem from the financial expenses associated with the plant, the depreciation of the Ghana cedi, and the manufacturer's profit margins. And finally, distribution costs amount to roughly 5 Ghana cedis per bag in Accra. These costs cover the transportation of cement from the factory to a distributor and/or retailer, as well as the distribution channels, overheads, and margins. They're going through all of this. As I was reading this, all that was going through my mind was forex exchange. Forex exchange. Why are we charging forex at our ports in the first place?
I was going to say, it's unfortunate, right? I've heard people and consumer advocacy groups like CATS International come out to say that, see, we don't need the cement price regulation LI, the Ministry of Trade, through Katie Hammond is pushing. What they've called for is for government to relook at the Competition and Fair Trade Practices Bill and the National Consumer Policy, which would help the space and help regulate what they think would be tackling monopoly issues, tackling quality, tackling fair trade issues. And the arguments they've put out sound interesting. And it will surprise you to know that this bill we are talking about, right, the Competitions and Fair Trade Practices Bill, was laid somewhere in 2006 or came up somewhere in 2006. And successive governments, not only this one, has completely neglected it. And for me, it's quite unfortunate. And we talked about the materials used in the production of cement, right? And of course, a lot of people know that the primary one is the clinker that we use.
Yeah.
Go back to the 2023 Ghana Statistical Trade Report, and you realize that clinker was the third most imported material into the country at the cost of somewhere around $206 million. And like they said, if you look at the tax build-up on a bag of cement, it makes no sense really for them to reduce their prices. And they've said that, see, it's not really about putting in place an airline to regulate the price, right? So Katie Amon described them as the haphazard increase. And I think that was what infuriated a lot of these members in the cement manufacturing area. But they've said that, see, issues like the exchange rate, issues like inflation, the basics, right? The basic economic indicators some way have a role to play in the price build-up of these things. And they've said that, see, if government is able to check the exchange rate, if government is able to bring inflation under control, then the ripple effect will be that cement prices will go down. And they make the point that, look, all across, paint, cars, both used cars, both brand new cars, every single thing is on the rise. So don't let them make it look as though it's only cement prices that are rising. And I think that calls for the competition and fair trade practices bill as a step in the right direction, or a call in the right direction. And the minister has to pay. I don't like the seeming tensions, right? And so one time is the ministry walking out like we've seen over the weekend.
Yeah.
Prior to that, July 1st, it was the cement manufacturers who walked out on a meeting because the minister invited media into the meeting he had with them, and they thought it was in bad faith. So I don't think this back and forth is necessary. It doesn't help improve the situation, right?
105 Ghana cities.
On the bag, it's absurd. But the other thing is that so the last time we were at Boteman for the National Swimming Championship, I look like at the township. So if you are right in front of the aquatic center,
right,
the land ahead, and I'm like, everybody is building, but somehow we say there's no money, but people are still building. So I'm like,
I think what it is that. So there might not be money, but you need a place to stay, because you can't keep paying, Wafa AJ, 1,000 cedis a month for a room. Masa AJ, who will indiscriminately just increase the thing.
Yeah, but where are you getting the money from to build if there's no money? You are here complaining about a bag of cement being 105 cedis.
Because you go 105 today, the next week, it'll go higher. So I don't know. They need to come to an agreement of some sort.
Like I'm saying,
like you said,
the exchange rate has a huge role to play. The cement manufacturers will tell you it's about 80% of the cost.
Yeah, when they listed their price range, you can actually see.
Their call is quite simple. Mr. Government, fix the economy. If you fix it, the ripple effect is that all of these prices will come down. We'll be able to reduce the prices. People will be able to buy, because they feel like the way government is going, it's going to, in the long run, lead to a monopoly, right? You have a lot of these big players moving out because of unfair market, sort of pricing and other related issues, and it could have serious implications for the economy. So protect the big players, protect the cement interest or manufacturers' interest, fix the economy, and things will get back to normal.
Speaking about things going up, last week the Concerned Drivers Union said from Monday they're going to increase transport fares. Why are you smiling? By 15%?
Because there's no break, right? You can't really catch a break.
No, not in this country. Not in this country.
It's incredible.
But the Deputy Minister of Transport, Hassan Tampuli, he's saying that he's urging Ghanaians to reject the 15% lorry fare increase announced by some transport operators. And he spoke on Eyewitness News last week. He says that it is not justified. There's no justification for the increase in transport fares. The GPRTU have also said that they are not increasing transport fares. They have, they do it in consultation with the government. But these concerned drivers say cost of fuel has risen. It's now 15.10.
I think for diesel or something. The point now is that it's expensive for a liter than a gallon.
Yeah, than a gallon.
And
I don't even understand it anymore. I've stopped looking at the prices, otherwise you won't buy fuel. Fuel prices are up. If they go to Abuso, spare parts, are also up. same forex that you were talking about a while ago. So everybody's feeling it in one way or the other. But the minister is saying that do not pay that 15%. So Monday, tomorrow, I can foresee fights in churches over 15%.
I mean,
yes, it shouldn't be the case.
It's so unfortunate.
But you know, the concerned drivers are a private union on their own, and GPRTU are also on their own. So if you get into a concerned driver's car, and let's say you pay 2 cedis for your fare normally, and you go in and it's risen, obviously. Obviously.
You see, the fuel or the transport fares increment conversation is fundamentally not too different from even the cement pricing, right? Because it goes back to the single most important indicator. If you check the price, the tax build-up on fuel, for example, you're asking yourself, why is this so? And if you look at the forex charts and you look at the fuel prices chart, there's a clear similarity, right? So every time where the exchange rate is, or the cedi is running against the dollar, you see the fuel prices also going up because we use these we use the dollar to import these fuel products into the country. So it goes back to the main question again, the exchange rate. And like some economists will say, everything really revolves around it. If you get it checked, a lot of the other hardcore parts of the economy will fall in line. So I think it's about time, right? I think there are 4 main issues or reasons that lead to fuel prices increments, right? So the economists will tell you that the import parity price of the product, the exchange rate, which is a major one, and of course other factors coming together. So it really goes back to the issues. People say the fundamentals, when it's weak,
the fundamentals are weak, it'll expose
a lot of cracks within the system. So yeah, government itself admits the economic challenges it's going through, and I'm sure they have a plan to really salvage the situation, because it really doesn't look good on a lot of things, or it doesn't really look good for their election prospects going into December. But I know it's interesting because talking about December, the Ghana Journalists Association has been cautioning media houses against declaring final election results. And this is coming on the back of, recently Fitch Solutions, a UK research firm, put out some statistics or a poll they had conducted on the elections that will be held in Ghana in December. And yeah, let me just take excerpts of the story. So the story is with the headline, GJA cautions media houses against declaring final election results on the citynewsroom.com. So the Vice President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Linda Asante-J, has urged media houses to refrain from declaring final results in the 2024 election, emphasizing that it's the sole responsibility of the Electoral Commission. She made these comments during the launch of an SDG facility project by the Ghana Center for Democratic Development in partnership with the Danish Embassy, aimed at strengthening climate reporting and defending media freedom. Linda Asante stressed the importance of responsible reporting, citing the potential for conflicts arising from inaccurate information. She highlighted the collaboration between media houses and the EC, underscoring that journalists should only present provisional results until the EC certifies the final results. So interesting comments there by the GJ. But I mean, in advanced democracies, you have media houses conducting what they call exit polls, right?
Yeah.
And even some of them sort of project who the winner would be. And I'm not really sure if this is to curb or to call on media houses to resist from doing that. You quite recall in 2020, even City, right? I mean, per the internal coalition we had done, it looked quite clear who was going to be the winner. And when people trust a brand to a certain level, they tend to take a lot of the things they say serious. In the US, for example, you see CNN, MSNBC, all of these big media, even Fox News, all of these.
Why are you laughing at Fox News?
I didn't laugh at
They're
Fox
credible,
News.
please. They're credible. Go ahead.
Only because of their politics, the kind of stories they run sometimes. But the point is that all of these big media have these polls they conduct from time to time.
Right.
So is the GJA saying that we should not conduct the polls, or they are saying that even if you've conducted a poll and you've done a coalition on your own, and it's telling to a particular party winning the election as a projected winner from your polls, you shouldn't go out to explain. I think we need a lot more.
I think what they're saying is that, you know, it's a tenuous exercise, and already the parties involved are tensed up. So what they're saying is that do not say emphatically that
this party
A has won.
Like I'm saying, what if my internal coalition is saying that I project this party to win?
So do not open your mouth to say that I'm projecting party A to win.
That's a very
party
difficult.
A, party B.
Then is that not media censorship?
But people are watching us, right? So they can see the, you know, the graphs.
Yeah, but
moving.
if I put it in, it's the same as saying it.
But we haven't said it. I think that's all they are saying. We haven't said it.
I think they should come out with guidelines, right? Yeah, so come out with some.
But they say this every election.
No. Come out with some detailed guidelines. And so engage stakeholders, engage, academia on best practices. Come out with guidelines as to how to go about election reportage. Get editors on board, take them through the procedure, and try to sanitize the system rather than just saying that don't announce. Of course, don't announce results if you've not done a proper research to back your claims, right? Because then that will lead to people just putting all kinds of things out. But I think the GGA should take it upon themselves as their responsibility, going into an election year, put together a team of qualified trainers, experts, get a proper guideline on best practices on election reportage and all other issues of importance around the election period.
All right. So several have been injured in an accident on Accra Tema motorway, ChannelOneNews.com. A 3-vehicle accident has caused traffic on Saturday at about 8 a.m. So those who used the motorway at that time, I'm sure were unlucky and unfortunate. And you know, when an accident happens on the motorway, it affects one side. So you're literally stuck in it for hours till they're able to move the vehicles away from that. So it says a Toyota Tundra belonging to the president's office, and the driver behind the wheel was a mechanic. Yeah, so he was the one driving the car. He'll tell you that he was trying the car. There's
a trending joke on X, formerly Twitter, about a mechanic called Masa Apia, right? So like somebody says something funny about mechanics and like they go or about a brand of a vehicle and like Masa Apia is going to get. And I'm wondering how, as a mechanic, if he's not the owner of the shop, how he's going to explain to his boss that he's probably taking a client's car and to crash into a vehicle at the presidency. Unfortunately,
the Tundra actually is from the presidency, according to the story. Only minor injuries were reported from the occupants of the vehicle. But I have done several reports on the Accra Tema motorway, so I don't understand why Kwame Nkrumah had a vision that big trucks, big vehicles will use the motorway from the port. So he's using cement to, fix that road. And the potholes are developing. And we come and say, okay, let's use bitumen to fix those potholes. Do you use a Tema motorway?
I use it, every now and then, right?
I hate using it because I don't know where a new pothole has developed.
It's unfortunate.
I can't understand how we use bitumen to fill the potholes. And then there's no lights. My car has spoiled on the motorway before at night. I was literally terrified because there's no light.
I can imagine.
And
really
I was just waiting
experience.
It was a horrifying experience. And I was just sitting in the car saying, oh my God, oh my God.
No, I can imagine. It's unfortunate.
I was scared because I know people also get robbed on that road. And like I was saying, I've done a lot of stories from that stretch. The last one I did, I saw they were clearing the side of the Tema motorway for an expansion. Now, people are saying that they should fix the other roads so that they can close the Tema motorway down and fix it within a week or a day or, however long. Fix the other roads, Beach Road and is it the Boteman stretch?
The Spintex, part of the Spintex can be used as an alternative.
Route.
Sometimes you are going to maybe Community 18 or Def Traco or Spintex, right?
Then you don't have to use
the Abattoir 10. You can use the Spintex road, right? So fix that Spintex road, make it an alternative route, and I'm sure to ease the pressure on the road. But I mean, you're right. I've heard a lot of engineers talk about the structural integrity of the motorway, even after the recent repair works. Like I said, I'm not too sure, or I'm not really vested on the science behind it. Using the whole, people are saying, why using concrete on asphalt and all of that? But the engineers have been speaking, and I expect that the Roads and Highways Authority will be listening to them. To be fair, they are doing a great job. Asenso Boakye has come on with some energy. So we've been doing a couple of road reports here at ChannelOne TV. They moved in swift. So I reported on the Afienya Dowenya Steel Bridge that was now a death trap, basically. The ministry has moved in. They are working on it. They are doing same at Kojo Ashon. So we'll give them that.
Maybe I should do another story on the Temamutu
we'll give them that. But we want to see a lot more.
Fix,
right after declaring a year of roads phase 1, year of roads phase 2, the motorway should not and cannot be in that current state.
All right. So that's all we have for you by way of news review. But don't